So it was interesting because I thought the question was ridiculous. So if you start from a ridiculous point, then other people can convince you it's not ridiculous. And I thought that because, as a clinical doctor and GP, we'd had some discussion in mental health, how much of mental health is part of a health. And I think it's 66, 2/3, so maybe that's a bit extreme, but we think it's 66%. Some people say it's 30%. So we agreed, Latvia and I agreed on 50%. So the European nations came together with 50%. So excellent. So you start off with 50%. Even Belgium, I think, was part of that. Even the Belgians agreed.
Even the Belgians.
Even the Belgians agreed. It was 50%. So we realised that if you got 50% of health and you're dealing with health, then if a doctor doesn't know what happy means in the patient, then you're not doing doctoring. Because I think happy equals mental health. I mean, it might be a definition. So I think happy, you've got to be mentally sound, healthy, to be happy. Is that right? And then we moved on a bit. I think then we went around everybody's careers.
Right.
And Gloria in Bologna, I've been practicing, haven't I, Gloria? In Bologna, she does trades as a doctor, and then she goes into public health or admin. Now, she's convinced me that I'm wrong. I've got a thing about it. Well, why do you do clinical medicine and not put your hands on patients? Because I love the clinical work. Okay. But she convinced me that we're actually doing the same thing, just at different levels. And I think that was kind of nice, because what I've been doing in my practice, in my town, in my community, and trying to get things lined up with allied health and things, is exactly what she wants for the community. So I thought, fine, that's fine by me. So, well done. That's great. That's great.
Meeting in such a short time.
In Moldova, we talked about her patients, generally speaking, but not always, are happy. They're either happy or they're asleep. I don't know if when you're asleep you're happy, and obviously they're midwifery patients, mainly young women, early 20s, having their baby. Mostly happy, occasionally not so happy having the baby, but mainly happy. So her patients are very happy. And I think Dr. Latvia had the same view as I had in terms of you've just part of the deal. You've got to, in your conversation. And there's one question you can say, and it's so simple. You just say, oh, whoever, Dirk, I haven't got any Dirk patients, Dirk. I said, how's it going today? How are you feeling? How are you? Or how are you? And you shut up. Wide open, and then if they're unhappy or stuff's going on, the stuff they want to get out, they'll get it out. Okay. And if you haven't, if you just got, oh yes, you need the Provocol and you need this prescription for this, and I'll refer you for a chest X-ray. I think you need a chest X-ray. I'm sure you do. Tick tick. See ya. Ding ding. Money. Hopeless. It should be sacked. Okay. Bye.
Yeah. We were talking about being content is more important than thinking happiness is always the center of the topic. Yeah. So he said Epicure. You talked about Epicure. Yeah. Being content, having no pain. Free from fear. This is all. And I think we should find that, and we should perhaps we should move the borders of normality. Yeah, push it. Not being sad is ill. Not being too happy is ill. Yeah, standing in the middle. Yeah, and pushing the borders. Is it what we said?
Yes, I think so. I think we came to the conclusion that happiness was a bit overrated. You can never be totally happy if you have never been totally sad. So you have to have a balance of the two, and that is normal behaviour, not being happy all the time, because that's, you're a mad person if you're happy all the time, and you're a mad person if you're sad all the time. But we know people who are very content who are very sad all the time. They're grumps, and so who are we to judge that? But what we have to ask the people is, are you content? Is your life what you want it to be, I suppose? And happiness, they might be happy or they might be sad, but that's what they want and what they live with and what they're content with. So we came to the conclusion that happiness probably wasn't the right word to use.
Contentment.
Yeah, or just, are you content with how you are in your life.
We had that thing yesterday on the meeting. How did you find the process, the walking meeting? Does it work for you?
Yes, sometimes we got a bit off track, but most of the time we stay.
Which track did you end up?
We kept losing people.
The only track was your conversation. That's the process, really. But did you enjoy the idea of comparing to being sitting around a table?
Oh yes, much more. Yes. I'd much rather garden than work.
But can you call it work? Can you do it in a work situation?
I work very hard in my garden.
Okay.
She gets paid handsomely for it.
Right. So next, who wants to share? Another group. Okay, yes, you are. Who else? Another group?
My group. So we talked about a lot of things.
Who was your group?
Well, they're not there anymore, and Peter, who's here also. We didn't focus on happiness all the time. So the walking process was good to develop other ideas also, in fact. We spoke a little bit about happiness because we didn't quite know what the definition of happiness was. And one person of the group said, well, for example, this morning we had a cup of coffee, and that was happiness for us at that moment. And we derived on techniques, because there were quite a lot of GPs in the group, that we apply to patients, where I usually ask to patients, for example, to drink a warm drink in the evening when they're a little bit sad or when they're not good, because it makes them feel a little bit better and stuff like that. But it made us happy to walk around and have all these discussions, which went a lot on political issues in health systems. But
So you think it can be used in a normal context work? Is it productive? Is it inspirational? How do you find it?
Yes. Well, for undisciplined groups like my little group, maybe at some stops having refocusing on one issue to remember, for people to remember that they're supposed to talk about happiness and not other issues.
Okay.
For example.
Okay. Yeah. Great. Who else was the group?
Group D. Anyway, we discussed in the same, more or less, topic, what is happiness, the importance to listen to the people, and to be genuine, and in many moments the concept or the feeling emerge naturally in community. The small things, important things, is so complex, so diverse. But anyway, the consciousness of ourselves and the relationship with the other, and the concern to be authentic, I think this will facilitate. It's mainly the relationship, the real concern with the other, with their feelings, how do you feel, and to listen instead of proceed to X-rays and so on. Yeah. I think it's more or less in the same mood and the same register. But it's so humble and so complex and at the same time so simple.
Because in our group it was public health doctors and people that have experience with patients directly. So the reflection was, it's so normal to speak about happiness when you are working with the community, because there is not a pathology or issue or disease issue that you have to discuss. So for example, it's really normal. You want to promote physical activities, and we normally offer work. And people say, no, I'm happier if we dance. And the younger guys say, no, football is better. So the idea of happiness comes immediately. On the other side, from the public health point of view, when we talk with managers, they are very scared about happiness. How we can measure or evaluate happiness? No, this is a philosophic thing. It's not about us, it's not about health system, it is about philosophy. So we think that we have discussed a little bit that happiness is really scaring for managers, and probably is safer to put the pathology in the middle, at the center of the set, and not the person. Another side effect of putting person at the center is that politics comes. You have to talk about, yes, you have health, but you are not happy. What mean in that view be healthy if you are not happy? So there is a strategy to put all the human being in his physiological or pathological parameters.
Yes.
And if you are stay good in that, you are good in your life.
Usually it works with if one of the persons in the group assumes the leadership of the meeting, like if you were exactly the same way as if you were in a meeting in a room. Usually you have a leader to the meeting, and usually it's the easiest way to go around, but every group is a group. Okay, so I hope you all had a good morning, a happy morning, and a content, well, hopefully we're aiming for more than
Jolly content this morning.